Let's get more on this now. I'm joined from London by Martin McCauley, who's an author and an analyst on Russia. Good to have you with us, Martin. So first of all, how do you think Russia's going to react to this warning given by John Kerry?
It's water of a duck's back, and it will have very little impact because America is in a situation you could really say it's really displaying the impotence of a great power. It's totally incapable of influencing Russian policy in Syria. The Russian Air Force has control of the skies over Syria. It would appear now that the Syrian Arab army, al-Assad's army, is going to launch an offensive, a ground offensive against eastern Aleppo, and the Russians will then continue bombing, and the two will hope that they can clear eastern Aleppo of the rebels.
So the bombardment will continue, despite the fact that the UN is now saying that both Russia and the Syrian regime are committing war crimes by bombing civilian areas, by bombing hospitals.
They've been saying that before, and the United Nations has no power because the Security Council, Russia has a veto, and it can prevent any motion which criticizes either itself or Syria or their action in Syria. So therefore, the UN is a talking shop. The UN is really impotent, and it reveals itself time and again just by making statements and appealing to the two sides, or the three sides, if you like, to cease the warfare and cease killing civilians. One of the reasons for bombing hospitals may be that the Russians suspect that there are Russian jihadis in them receiving treatment. And it's quite clear that the part of the Russian policy in Syria is to attack those Russian jihadis whom they identify, because they want to kill them before they can return to Russia. So therefore, Russia's policy has two angles to it. One is to help Bashar al-Assad to take Aleppo and to secure him in power. So the other is to annihilate the Russian jihadis. One estimate is 4,000, something like 4,000 Russian jihadis, and Russia does not want them to return to the Russian Federation because they fear that they will then commit crimes in the Russian Federation. So Russia will ignore the United States.
I mean, I understand that the Russian government has a policy, as you've been explaining, in Aleppo, but within Moscow itself, how do these scenes of destruction go down when they see the loss of life, when they see that hospitals are being bombed, and they know that Russian warplanes are taking part in that? What is the public reaction in Moscow? Do we know?
The public reaction would really follow what is put on television and radio, and the argument is that those who are causing the mayhem are rebels. They are the jihadis, and unless they are dealt with, then the whole of Syria will fall under their control, and from then onwards, they could actually then move into Russia. So therefore, from the Russians' point of view, the average Russian's point of view, they go along with the television pictures and say, right, we're on the right side here. We're fighting against the rebels. We're fighting against jihadis, because if they come here, they will kill us. So therefore, the propaganda is very, very effective, because there's only one version of the truth which is put out on Russian television and Russian radio, and the average person in the street hopes that they will succeed. Now, of course, they're always thinking about Afghanistan. The fear is that Syria will become another Afghanistan, and that Russia will be dragged more and more into it. And Russian policy, Vladimir Putin and Sergei Lavrov have pointed out that they're not going to become involved on the ground, even though they have something like 500 Russian troops on the ground giving advice and so on, but they will not become involved in a ground war. That is the task of the Syrian Arab army. That's the task of al-Assad's army. They will help with the air power, and the United States is impotent. It's an example of a great power really being quite incapable of changing the attitude of another great power in a war zone. It reminds one of Vietnam again.
Okay.
It's very, very painful for the Americans.
Sorry to interrupt, Martin. Indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Martin, thank you very much. Interesting analysis. Good to speak with you. Martin McCauley there, live for us in London.